Luxury fashion has always promised European craftsmanship, exclusivity, and artistry. When you buy a $5,000 handbag or a $1,000 pair of shoes, you expect it to be made by skilled artisans in Paris, Milan, or New York. But on April 2025, that belief was shaken. Chinese factory owners flooded TikTok with videos claiming that many luxury products, from Hermès to Gucci to Louis Vuitton, are actually manufactured in China, then lightly finished or relabeled in Europe to command sky-high prices. The allegations sparked outrage. Consumers who had trusted luxury brands for decades now felt deceived, fueling a wave of skepticism and calls for transparency across the industry. In this video, we uncover the truth behind these viral claims, separating fact from fiction, and ask, is today's luxury still built on craftsmanship or clever marketing? In early April 2025, a wave of TikTok videos went viral featuring alleged Chinese factory workers and owners showing off handbags, shoes, and clothing, supposedly produced for high-end luxury brands. Some videos showed familiar silhouettes, bags that looked suspiciously like Hermès Birkins or Chanel flaps, stacked in factories located in Guangdong and other manufacturing hubs. The captions claimed these factories supplied major European brands and had been doing so for decades. One user at Senbags claimed bluntly that 80% of the world's luxury bags are made in China. They explained that while final assembly or packaging might occur in Europe, the bulk of the material production and stitching happened in Chinese factories under non-disclosure agreements. According to these TikTokers, a Birkin bag costing $30,000 to $40,000 at retail could be produced in China for just around $1,400 in material and labor costs. Public reaction was immediate and visceral. Thousands of users flooded comment sections expressing betrayal, with sentiments like, "I paid for European craftsmanship, not a factory line," and "Luxury is a scam." Some users vowed to boycott certain brands altogether. Others, ironically, shifted to purchasing cheaper factory direct versions, fueled by apps like DHgate, which saw a massive spike in downloads. While many of these claims caught fire online, experts and major media outlets warned that not all the information was accurate. Some of the videos may have actually shown high-quality counterfeit factories rather than legitimate OEM original equipment manufacturer suppliers. Nonetheless, the emotional damage was done. Consumers began questioning luxury's entire value proposition. Is it artistry or simply branding? Luxury handbags became the primary symbol of consumer outrage. Brands like Hermès, Louis Vuitton, and Gucci were repeatedly mentioned in the viral clips. TikTokers alleged that these brands contact Chinese manufacturers for mass production, but use Europe-based finishing touches to legally label products as "made in France" or "made in Italy," inflating the perceived value for Western markets. Hermès was particularly targeted because of its Birkin and Kelly bags, which are legendary for supposed hand craftsmanship and waiting lists stretching months or even years. The claim that these items could be largely produced in China, then shipped to France for minor adjustments and logo stamping, hit a nerve. Consumers felt they were paying not just for the material, but for a story of tradition, artisanship, and exclusivity. A story that now seemed partially fictional. Luxury experts immediately pushed back. French industry officials, including figures from the Luxury and Design Center, stated that there was no evidence that finished, authentic Hermès or Louis Vuitton bags were manufactured entirely in China. They emphasized that counterfeiting operations were likely behind the viral videos, and that falsely suggesting authentic luxury products were outsourced could itself be a tactic used by counterfeiters to erode brand trust. Nevertheless, the scandal forced brands to be defensive. Some, like Louis Vuitton, reasserted that their bags are manufactured in official European workshops in France, Spain, and Italy. Despite these reassurances, the damage to brand image was real. Online sentiment showed that many consumers remained skeptical and demanded deeper transparency about manufacturing practices. Shoes became the next focal point. Though less sensational than bags, footwear brands like Jimmy Choo and Coach were dragged into discussions about globalized production practices. Consumers began asking, if bags could be outsourced to China, what about luxury shoes selling for $800 or more? Investigations showed that the luxury shoe industry already uses a complex supply chain. It is common for materials such as leather or fabrics to be sourced from one country, Stitching and embellishments completed in another, sometimes China, Vietnam, or Eastern Europe. And final assembly or inspection done in Italy or Spain to qualify for Made in Italy labels. This process is technically legal under European Union rules, which focus on the location of substantial transformation rather than where each component originated. Experts noted that many brands have long outsourced parts of their production, but because final assembly occurs in Europe, they can market their products as European-made. The TikTok claims, however, suggested that a much larger portion of production than previously admitted, particularly the skilled labor portion, was being outsourced to China. Although no direct proof emerged against Jimmy Choo or Coach regarding hidden Chinese production, the controversy stirred consumer doubts about pricing. If a luxury shoe's materials and 80% of its construction occurred abroad, was the $1,000 price tag still justified? The discussion exposed a sensitive truth. Globalization affects even the most prestigious luxury products, and full Made in Italy. Romanticism may often be more marketing than reality. The controversy naturally spilled into luxury clothing. Brands such as Gucci, Prada, Dior, and Chanel have long promoted the image of fine European tailoring, with advertisements emphasizing artisanal work in Paris or Milan. But new questions surfaced. Were luxury suits, dresses, and jackets also products of outsourcing and global manufacturing chains? It is well documented that the textile industry is globalized. Fabrics like silk, cashmere, and cotton are often sourced from China, Mongolia, India, or Egypt. Embellishments like beadwork and embroidery are frequently completed in South Asia. Even in high fashion, it is not uncommon for a garment to have a multinational construction story. Fabric woven in China, embroidery sewn in India, assembled in Romania, and then final stitching and quality control done in Italy or France. An example of misinformation tangled in this controversy involved Lululemon. Not a traditional luxury brand, but a high-end athletic brand. A viral video falsely claimed Lululemon products were manufactured entirely in China and labeled misleadingly. In response, Lululemon promptly published a list of their factories and clarified that less than 3% of their production is in mainland China, debunking the viral claim. For major fashion houses, this debate reopened long-standing criticisms that Made in Italy or Made in France may not guarantee that 100% of the labor or material comes from that country. Consumers, feeling misled, began to demand clearer labeling, proposing that brands should specify all major countries involved in a product's creation, not just where it was finally assembled. At its core, the April 2025 controversy exposed a deeper issue: trust. Luxury consumers pay not just for products, but for a story of artistry, tradition, and excellence. If that story collapses under accusations of mass manufacturing and misleading labels, the foundation of the industry risks crumbling. Luxury brands now face a choice: cling to the myth of European exclusivity or embrace transparency, even if it means admitting to globalized production. Analysts predict transparency will become non-negotiable, especially among younger buyers. A recent poll found that over 70% of luxury consumers prefer brands that reveal their full manufacturing process, even when it involves multiple countries. Luxury isn't just about logos or price tags. It's about truth, craftsmanship, and trust. Now that you know what's happening behind the scenes, tell me in the comments. Would you still pay thousands for a bag or pair of shoes if it was made in China? If you found this eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. It helps more people discover the truth behind luxury. Thanks for watching, and stay sharp.